How would you spend $10 million in 24 hours? Dollars is spelled wrong. So that really offends me. But
Dolores.
dollar, how would you spend $10 million?
I hate those questions. It's like, I don't know. I'd buy a bunch of gold so that I wouldn't have to rush my spending decision. I'd buy some assets with it, something that I could turn around and liquefy back into cash.
So fun at
There are
fucking.
4 rules. Everything you buy has to be in your possession at the end of the time limit. No one else can spend the money beside you. Don't give half to your buddy.
You don't
Everything,
have to.
everything you buy has to be paid with cash. Time begins where you're sitting right now.
So you have to like go find $10 million worth of gold that you
God
in-
damn
Yeah.
it! I couldn't just put it in the market because
Could
it's
you
Friday
honestly do
night.
that?
That sucks.
Yeah, we
You
do.
could. No, if you had 24 hours, you could find somewhere. You just go to Vegas and buy poker chips. Like there's something. There's always something you could do with that money. You just go and you'd put it in. You'd spend it
I
on
wouldn't
something.
want it in something physical. I feel like a target. You know, like to me, I
Physical.
Nobody knows that a poker chip is this big.
I think that's the reason they added that stipulation so that we couldn't do some ringamaroo of like, oh, I'll just do this and put it in the market, or I'll invest in stocks. Like, you could at least say you'll buy some high value real estate that you know is going to appreciate, or something like that. But I
Yeah.
think the thing is a little bit.
It'd be
I know-
easy. You just spend it on things that aren't money holes. That are at least moderately good investments. Real estate would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was more than 10 million because it amuses me that Jay-Z and Beyonce were trying to buy a house and they got outbid by Notch, the Minecraft
$73
guy.
million.
Yeah. I just want to fuck with Jay-Z.
Honestly-
oh, you like that one too? Well, that one's mine, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2% of his entire like total net worth right there on $73 million.
It seems
I've been in the
like-
house. It's an outstanding piece of property that I would never want to live in. Like
Why wouldn't you want to live there?
the sheer size of that house is not something that you can appreciate. Like most people that are watching this show probably live between, you might live in an apartment, 10 or 1,000 square feet. Maybe you live in a large house, like 3,500 square feet. This house is 22,000 square feet.
Wow.
It is the size of like a Walmart. The fact that when you walk into the living room, the distance from you to the kitchen is a full football field length of marble floor, and nothing but marble floor and paintings. It is a depressing amount of space. I was there with 150 people, and I swear it felt like there were 10 people there.
That's
It was.
That
It
is-
was.
I-
Yeah.
that was first of all outstanding. Now I understand. Like I
Yeah.
get it. You have fully explained it. My house is 6,500 square feet, something like that.
Which is a huge house.
It is a pain in the ass sometimes. Like if you're in the kitchen and you realize like you left your socks, which we store in the master closet, you're like, oh, like you want a fucking skateboard, like to go over there and get the socks from the other part of the house.
Yeah.
And
22,000 square foot home.
It's a
That
whole
makes it
nother
like
level.
a reality that if you're standing in the middle of the living room and you get sudden diarrhea, you might not make it.
And it's all white. It's all like you're shitting and there's a trail. Favorite part from that night, it was honestly, I was only there for 2 hours because it was like towards the end of. I don't think there's a way you end up at that house before like 11 p.m. anyways. But they only had brown liquor out on the full scale bar that was unmanned by the housekeepers that were walking around collecting plates of food from everybody. Like he just had people there. And I asked one of them, I was like, hi, you have only brown liquor. Like, do you have any vodka? Because that's all I drank. And she laughed at me and then said, choose one. And I was like, that's great, but there were no bottles. And I turned out, the whole wall is just vodka bottles. Like, it's all handles of vodka, about 300 of them in rows all the way down on this 10-foot ceiling. It's just, and she just, take one. Like, the house is sponsored by this brand of vodka. Like, they will fill this. Like, you can bring that home with you if you would like. I was like, oh, like, that comes with
How did
the
you get
73
there?
million. Through Fwiz. Fwiz is friends with Notch, and I was there with Vanos and somebody else. It was just
So-
like a random thing. Yeah, it was awesome.
Sponsored by, Absolute.
It wasn't Absolute. I had actually never heard of the
Nice.
brand.
Regular drinks they had, you had to have vodka. You didn't want some
No, they had
$1,000 whiskey.
like 9 bottles of brown liquor of various types and sizes. I'm not like a.
did you go to the pool? The pool
Yeah,
is
the
what
pool's
sells that house to me.
way smaller than I thought it would be. You know, when they see the shot. So if anybody doesn't know, just go look at a picture. It's like a huge, like crescent-shaped pool that overlooks this gorgeous view of the entire Beverly Hills. The view is awesome, but the pool itself, you could not dive from like one edge of the pool comfortably without like forcibly slowing yourself down before you hit the wall on the other side. It was like a good 10 feet of space between one end and the other. So it was like way smaller than I thought it would be. Still gorgeous because there's like 3 feet of 3-inch water where you put your chair in and you lay in the pool and whatever. But like when you look at the video or whatever, it looks like a huge like Olympic sized swimming pool when in reality it's like a very skinny, very long, beautiful though.
Is it because the yard wasn't big enough for more?
Yeah, there's no space in that yard. I don't know if they probably could have made it bigger.
I would have had a smaller house and a bigger pool. I know.
Yeah.
Why not put an indoor pool in the football field of marble?
That's what I'm saying. Like, see, this is why we're not millionaires. Probably because we're not the type of people that can appreciate football fields of marble. It's probably where like 3 million of the house went to. I don't know.
Probably. He could have had like a half indoor, half outdoor pool. I had a really rich friend who had one of those, or his grandpa did.
Those are pretty fly.
Really nice pool. Half of it was outside. The other half, like, you could swim inside, and then like you press a button, and like a gate closed to like seal.
Oh shit!
During the winter, so the outside would be covered up and frozen, and the inside is heated.
That's awesome, actually.
That'd be so cool to just manufacture crazy Willy Wonka ideas of a house.
But
and
he could do that. That's what's crazy. Like, you could do that, but like, more power to you if you're able to be like, yeah, I do want that house, and like, I'll get it, and there's like no qualms about it. But I feel like with that amount of money, you would build that Willy Wonka house where like, maybe I want a room that just has 13 subwoofers in it. Like, that it's just a room with 13 subwoofers. Because fuck you. Like, I'm going to go listen to music really loud in that room.
Early in his career, Shaq wanted a house where the bed came from the floor. That was like his thing. He's like, I want a room where a king-size bed emerges from the floor. Like the sides open and the bed comes up. And he kept talking, like he was kind of responsible about it. He's talking to his financial manager and he's like, no. You need to have this much set aside before you're allowed to buy that. He's like, all right, call Nike, see what we can do. You know, like
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think he got it, but you know, it was pretty cool. He wanted to be that
That's
rich.
awesome.
He did a show with Shaq in it like a couple of years ago, and it was just like one of those shitty reality shows that's probably not on anymore, called like Fish Tank Men or something. And it was basically these men who would go around to really rich people's houses and like demo like $15,000 fish and like $2 million tanks. And Shaq was there just like explaining how he wanted like a whole room with like every wall being a
It's
fish
just a
tank.
fish tank.
He's just like one huge warehouse. Like, yeah,
Would
like,
that not be sick, though?
and I'm like, that eel, how much is this one? It's like, that's a whatever the fuck electric eel. That one goes for 13,000. It's like, yeah, 3 of those. It's like Jesus Christ. It's like, how much money do you have that you can buy $36,000 worth of eel? Like a low-end Mercedes worth of fish that are gonna die eventually.
5 years. There's like I know we're getting like super off topic, but like there's a good video that I think it was a League of Legends streamer, and I know there's like 800 different like variations of this, and it's somebody donated him $1,000, and he's like, fuck yeah, like, you know, obviously he's like super thankful, and somebody's like, holy shit, like, I can't believe that somebody would waste $1,000 on you. It's like, look, with all due respect, the guy who spent $1,000 on me, he has, you know, he's told me that I'm okay to say this, you know, he has about $24 million in his bank account, so he like goes and shows $24 million in $100,000 units. So 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. Yeah. So he takes 1,000 out and he's like, that's 100,000 gone. It's like a page of 100,000. He's like, he probably wouldn't notice it that much. And he's like, so imagine how much $1 billion is. It's like 13 pages of nothing but $100,000 just posted out. And he's like, remove 2 million of that. And he's like, it's gone. I bet you like all that money, no way in hell they would ever notice that amount of money missing. Like, there's just such a huge scale of money that you can get to where it's just like that $13,000, like, it's like going to buy a newspaper for you at that point.
If you were that rich, wouldn't you want to like surprise people with just like boom,
Yeah.
in there? Like I've said this before, like, you know those cannons they have at baseball games where they launch shit? I would just put like $100 bills, like a $10,000 wad,
A
or
wrap.
and just ride my limo down the street through really dangerous area. Not really dangerous. Dangerous enough that I'm still okay. And then just like pop out of the roof and just fire it at some random homeless guy, and it hits him in the chest, knocks him back, and he's really pissed for a second until he notices that he's covered in tens of thousands of dollars. Other homeless people come and tear him to shreds, but everybody comes away with like $500, so it's a net win
Yeah.
in society.
Dude,
I mean, it was yeah, go for it.
$10,000 is a lot of money, right? And if you just drop it in a person's lap, it can change a lot for them, right? Like maybe that's the amount of debt they have, and suddenly like this crippling stress thing that's in their life is gone. But on the other hand, like $10,000, it fits in like a brown lunch bag, and you can blow it on a good weekend in Vegas. Like what you do with it can be pretty. Like there's a wild disparity of what 10 grand means to different people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the scale of it. Well, the whole thing is that there's that. I think it was like Neil deGrasse Tyson in his TED Talk is how much money would it take for Bill Gates to say, no, that's too little money. It's not worth my time to bend down and pick it up. So he's like, you know what? If I'm walking down the street, I make $100,000 a year. If I'm walking down the street and I see a quarter, I'll probably pick up a quarter. If I see 10 cents, like maybe not worth my time. It's there, it's dirty, but like a quarter, I can use that to pay my parking bill. And he's like, the equivalent amount of money that Bill Gates would be like, that's a quarter. Like I'll pick down is like $41,000 in cash. Just the point where you're walking down the street and you're like, the greater than the average amount of income per household in America, like I don't really want to bend over and pick that up. Like
So
somebody else can grab that.
Yeah, he could see like an Audi A5 sitting there with the bow on it with the keys
He's
in
like,
it. It's like, hey, someone drop this. It's up for grabs. And he'd be like, what
I
am
have
gonna
to get in it.
Tucker,
No room to get in it.